All right, guys, so we got some breaking news coming out of the Middle East, man. Obviously, everybody's heard that Israel has officially struck Iran. So we were having this all kind of led to today. There was several events, right? So we had the final negotiations that are supposed to happen on Sunday with Steve Witkoff. And, you know, they were supposed to negotiate a deal, and this was all supposed to be, you know, handled with diplomacy. But then we had different events in between. You know, obviously we had Iran doing a major cyber attack on Israel, which exposed the entire IAEA organization as a scam, and they've been compromised by Israel, right? So we later found out that the Iranian nuclear scientists that were assassinated, the IAEA was dropping their names, right? So they were dropping their names, and so not only that, they were, you know, giving them other bits and pieces of information to Israel. So they were literally, it was like the IAEA coming in to do inspections in Iran was literally Israel walking up in there doing inspections, right? It was that severe of a compromise. And speaking of them, we had that piece of shit clown, this two-faced little devil, Rafael Grossi, head of the IAEA. So he, the first thing he did when these strikes happened, he went and called the Israeli president to give him like a detailed analysis of exactly what they struck and like, you know, what exactly the damage looks like. And he was giving him, you know, all types of intel. This is being reported. This was after yesterday. We get this random announcement that Iran, after 20 years of them complying to the IAEA, now, as of yesterday, they're seen as non-compliant and non-compliant with safeguarding nuclear facilities. And so that makes them like a rogue rabbit state, right? To where like now they're illegally enriching uranium. And so Israel then went and conducted these airstrikes today, obviously with the salute from President Donald Trump, even though he wants to sit there and act like that fucking pig wants to sit there and act like he didn't know what was going on. I don't know what was going on. But, you know, he's already been bought and purchased by the Adelsons, so, you know, it was very expected. So they targeted about 4 different regions, right? Tabriz, Tehran, Natanz, Khorramabad. And then they actually assassinated 3 senior commanders, including the Army Chief of Staff, the head of the powerful Islamic, Bagheri, and what was the other guy? Salami, and then the pretty much like the A to Khamenei, right? So like the guy who's with him 24/7, right? So they assassinated these 3 people, and then they assassinated like 9 nuclear scientists. Obviously, the IAEA dropped them names, right? Motherfuckers. And you know what's crazy is like these people, guys, they never, you know, obviously Israel has nuclear weapons. Israel doesn't have to comply to any of these standards. So just to show you the hypocrisy and why people in Iran who were saying that we should sit and like actually negotiate uranium enrichment with the West are fucking stupid. I don't know how these people. But anyway, so we get a report saying that a lot of this shit was pre-planned for several years, right? So we know the Mossad and the Israelis, guys, they plan for 30 years ahead. These people don't play, right? So we got this report coming out that that Israel used a kamikaze drone base that it had secretly planted within Iran years prior to launching its aerial assault. In a coordinated 3-pronged operation, Mossad remotely activated precision weapons pre-positioned near Iranian air defense centers, deployed and smuggled strike vehicles to take out radar systems, and launched explosive drones from the covert base to disable missile launchers at Iran's Asaf-Jabad base. The synchronous actions cleared the way for Israel's jets to deliver maximum damage to critical and nuclear military facilities. So they had a full-blown secret drone base in Iran, just to show you how badly Iran's been infiltrated with the Mossad, and how these people operate, right? And again, we know that Israel's military power is zip, right? They're trash. They fucking got defeated by Hamas. But when it comes to their intelligence branch, they're very, very sophisticated guys, right? So they're everywhere. And we got some official bootlickers of the United States government, which there's a lot of them, right? I mean, the U.S. is fucking cucked to these people, right? They're fucking bowing down. All these people, and some of them are just, very familiar names: Ted Cruz, Tim Scott, fucking clown Tim Scott, Lindsey Graham, piece of shit neocon. All these pieces of shit coming out, all these neocons are coming out saying like, "Oh, Israel, our ally Israel, we're praying for them. They have the right to defend themselves." They all kind of got in line because they're all paid off by the same people that Trump's paid off by, right? So anyways, man, this is a video here of some of the damage. Let's look at some of the damage here. Yeah, man. So, they actually targeted residential buildings mainly. So most of these targets were residential buildings. We don't really know the extent of the damage that these attacks, really took a toll on Iran's nuclear facilities, because we do know they're buried like meters underground, but we do know that a nuclear reactor was hit, and so there was like a scare where some nuclear fissile material was released, but all that was debunked later on. But everybody's making these random claims that, like, you ask one of these fucking neocons that had a wet dream when this shit was going on, right? They ejaculated. They'll tell you like oh yeah, Israel just knocked down Iran's full nuclear facility bomb making capabilities, which is absolute bullshit, right? Even Israel didn't admit that. Like, they say that this is going to be like a long war, because Iran has to strike back, or at this point they lose all credibility and they're just sitting ducks. So let's get into a video here. There's an animation that Israel released of Iran attacking their defense capabilities. Let's get into this video, guys. I don't know what that says in Hebrew, but this is yeah. So those are like their ballistic missile infrastructures. So they went and attacked a lot of the sections, places where their launch pads and stuff like that. The majority of their stuff, Iran's shit, is underground, though, right? So a lot of that is bullshit. It's not really gonna make much of a strain on Iran's capabilities. And Netanyahu came out and said, so there's this phrase they've been using, guys, which is absolutely hilarious, saying that Israel had no choice, right? So they're saying Israel had no choice, and they're marketing it as that Israel was completely out of options. And so within a split second, they've been saying this since 1979, that Iran's going to develop a nuclear weapon, right? So within a split second, they can develop a nuclear weapon, and Israel had no choice, and their backs were against the wall, and this and that bullshit. You know what I mean? And let's get into what Netanyahu says. So Netanyahu makes he sounded very nervous. I don't even like looking at this guy because he's a straight devil.
Israel launched operations moments ago.
Let's go ahead and unfortunately we have to stare at this guy just to see what this clown
moments ago
here.
Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were the victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by the Nazi regime. Today, the Jewish state refuses to be a victim of a nuclear Holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. Now, as Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. Iran is gearing up to produce 10,000 of those ballistic missiles within 3 years. Now just imagine 10,000 tons of TNT landing on a country the size of New Jersey. This is an intolerable threat. It too must be stopped. Iran is now working on what it calls the new plan to destroy Israel. You see, the old plan failed. Iran and its proxies tried to encircle Israel with a ring of fire and to attack us with the horrible attack of October 7th. But the people of Israel, the soldiers of Israel, rose like lions to defend our country. We crushed Hamas, we devastated Hezbollah, we hit Iranian proxies in Syria and Yemen. And when Iran directly attacked us twice last year, we struck back inside Iran itself. Yet in defending ourselves, we also defend others. We defend our Arab neighbors. They too have suffered from Iran's campaign of chaos and carnage. Our actions against Iran's proxy Hezbollah led to the establishment of a new government in Lebanon and the collapse of Assad's murderous regime in Syria. The peoples of those two countries now have a chance for a different future, a better future. So too do the brave people of Iran, and I have a message for them. Our fight is not with you. Our fight is with the brutal dictatorship that has oppressed you for 46 years. I believe that the day of your liberation is near. And when that happens, the great friendship between our two ancient peoples will flourish once again. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually.
Yeah. I mean, we've been hearing the same old bullshit that this guy's been trying to sell. This watermelon fucking salesman, snake oil salesman, piece of shit. We've been hearing the same shit. Like, oh, Iran's going to fucking develop these nuclear weapons and they're going to disperse them against everybody. And, essentially everybody's going to be under threat of Iran's nuclear weapons. The key is, like, they want to maintain nuclear dominancy. That's the issue. So, essentially, Iran's going to have to respond, guys. Again, like, there's no level. The problem is they didn't respond earlier, which allowed for this attack to take place. And so, one thing, Khamenei, obviously, he's already called for a brutal response to the Israeli airstrikes. And right now, it's just a waiting game, guys. So Khamenei vows severe response against Israeli strikes at dawn today. The Zionist regime extended his vile and blood-stained hand to commit a crime in our beloved country, further exposing its wicked nature by targeting residential areas. The regime must now await a severe punishment. The powerful hand of the armed forces of the Islamic Republic will not let them go unpunished, God willing. In the enemy's attack, a number of commanders and scientists were martyred. Their successors and colleagues will immediately carry on their duties. God willing, with this crime, the Zionist regime has prepared a bitter and painful fate for itself, and it will certainly receive it. So, again, guys, there are these people saying like, "Oh, Iran's a paper tiger," and they've been bluffing the whole time. They're really not as strong as they say they are. You got to understand, guys. Like, they have already shown us their military prowess, right? With Operation Two Promise Two, which, like, whatever the reports say, 99% of those missiles hit. They pass through like 7. You gotta think, because there's like 7 or 8 layers of protection, especially the fucking cucked ass in the air, getting ready to take it up the ass, Arab states in between Iran and Israel. These every one of those countries is cucked, and what they do is so check this out, guys. This is a map here. They're so cucked from all the way from Jordan to Israel to Saudi Arabia, UAE. All these people have their airspace closed, and they're like assisting with shooting these drones down. Like any drone that Iran launched, like 100 drones, I guess, and stupid people on the internet are like, "Oh, here comes the attack, 100." No, motherfucker, they're just trying to see what air defenses they have to get through in order to be able to launch the real attack, right? So those were just like play drones, and they started seeing like Jordan, like the king of Jordan, that cucked fucking loser, shooting drones down. They were seeing Syria, like Saudi Arabia and UAE and all these other countries, or Egypt was in the air shooting all that shit down. So again, these people have the right to airspace, their sovereignty. Like when if they don't want anything flying over their airspace, they have the right to shoot it down. But then at the same time, it's like, indirectly they're assisting the genocidal state, right? And so we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. Again, it is Friday in Iran. It's like Friday morning, midday now. And so, we're going to have that. They're going to have to respond. I mean, you can't just sit there like a duck, they're going to respond. And, there you go. Another attack 11 minutes ago. Another fucking attack. Yep.